you know, letting that episode sink in was good. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about Game of Thrones episode 3. So, big fan of Game of Thrones. I haven't read the books or anything like that, but I was one of those people that hadn't seen it in a really long time. Like, season 7 ended, and that's when I finally watched it. Um, and that's thanks to my missus. So, I didn't have to wait that long. But I feel bad for the people that did have to wait long. Just because the wait, man. But, like, to come up like this, I'm just saying, dude. Like, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. Like sinking it all back in and just thinking about that episode entirely. The writing sucked. The writing really, really sucked. If there was two characters that died this episode, it was the writing and the lighting. Because God, was it hard to follow what the hell was even happening. I mean, seriously. That's one thing I hate about like certain series, movies, shows that do this kind of thing, that they like set up this like dark lighting, but then you can't see half of the shit that's even going on. And that's something that did kind of happen. Let me go over the points of why I think this episode was a huge disappointment. And at first, after I was done with the episode, I already had a sour taste in my mouth because the episode was really good, right? I thought so. I would have given it like a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 or something like that. And I've seen other videos at this point, like Angry Joe, right? Everybody should know who he is. If you're watching me, you probably should know who he is. So he's just one of the many videos that I've seen that I'll bring up points that now when I'm coming back, sitting down and thinking about it, it's a disappointment, man. It really is. It really, really is. So let me go over a few points. And like I said, when I was done watching that episode, don't get me wrong, it was hype. The entire episode was just like this kind of like, there was never a point of that I felt like hopeful during that episode. Like everything was just going bad. Everything was going bad. Except one thing. Not even a lot of characters died. Not even a lot of characters died. And I think that's bullshit. I think that's crap. So, to try to stay focused, I'm going to go over some standpoints and points and whatnot, uh, repeating myself, of why the episode was disappointing. Now, the one of the good things I can say about this episode was the directing. The director was phenomenal. I think his name was Miguel, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but phenomenal. Took shitty writing and turned it into almost a masterpiece. I'd almost consider it that. What he was given and what he did with it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But it looked like I was watching fan service. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like to me. It was watching fan service. Not a single important character died. There was 3 characters. Theon, he could have died at any point. Honestly, he really could have. After he started getting tortured, I could have given fuck all if he died. I really could have. And I like at that point in time, like, sure, fine, you wanted him to have like some sort of redemption, but for what? Just for him to sit there and die for Bran when Bran was sitting there doing absolutely nothing, literally fucking nothing. What was he doing that entire point? The only thing I could think of was that maybe he was going out like searching for an army or something like that. I don't know. Like going out, maybe searching for an army or something to combat Cersei, which brings me to another standpoint, and I need to stay on track. The director did great. One big flaw was characters. The first couple of seasons, that followed the books and whatnot. Sure, that you take some of your own creative liberties, but at the end of the day, what do you like? I just feel like some of the lights, some of the specialness of Game of Thrones was different from other fantasy series because the characters could die. Main characters could die. They were not afraid to just the red wedding, um, Ned Stark. I mean, I can go on. Oberyn, when he got cocky as hell, was about to kill the mountain, died. So many characters could die in the early seasons, and that was just thrown away in this episode. And it felt like fan service. It did. It felt like fucking fan service. Theon died, Jorah died, and Ed. Ed died from the Night Watch. 3 characters that I can remember died. Tormund didn't die. Brienne didn't die. Grey Worm didn't die. Jaime didn't die. No one in the crypt died. None of the important characters in the crypt died. Sansa, Tyrion, the bald guy. I can't remember his name. I'm kind of bad with names, guys. But in all honesty, like, none of those 3 died. And you're really going to tell me that they didn't think about the crypt and, like, not being raised up? Like, because, you know, none of the people down there get burned. They just get buried. So you're really going to tell me that they didn't think, yeah, let's put females, children, people that can't fight into the crypt, and nothing bad will happen. Nothing bad will happen. Which is total shit. Total shit. You can't make me think for a second that Jon or someone that went and fought these zombies, the whites, the undead army, didn't think that they could be raised by the Night King. Are you really going to tell me that? Because if you tried to tell me that, I would say you're full of it. I would say you're full of it. Second thing was just like the fan service, man. It felt like fan service. And my problem is not the director, but the writing. The writing. What was Bran doing that entire time? Arya kills the Night King. And I'm sure you're watching this episode fully knowing this, or not episode. I'm assuming you're watching this video fully knowing this, because I'm reviewing it, and I'll put, spoilers ahead, obviously, because I wouldn't want someone to, I would never want to spoil it if, they didn't know. No, radar, get down. Arya killed the Night King. Night King felt useless. All these little things just seemed really thrown away. The Night King was this really, really cool, mysterious, being that could raise the dead, right? They gave you a little bit of backstory and they built up on him. But from season 1, man, season 1, episode 1, the very beginning of the show, the whites were the big thing. The whites were the big thing. Why is it that in one episode, the Night King and his entire army is finished? Done. Dealt with in one episode. It should not have been the Night King. The Night King should have been the end boss, not Cersei. Not at all. What makes Cersei so much more special than the Night King? It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. The Night King should have been the end boss. He had a dragon. He had an entire infinite dead army that could be raised back. I'm telling you, this entire episode had this feeling of tension and no hope, almost not depression, but a loss. You're at a loss. You just see the army of the dead pile on top of each other, getting up the wall, piling on top of each other to stop the fire, to walk through it, piling over the army itself, their defenses. Why? Why? And the Dothraki, that 100,000 people just charged into battle for what? For what? I get it. Lighting, the lady in red lit their weapons and it put it like set it on fire, and it gave this kind of like symbol of hope that they could do it or something like that. Why would they charge in? Why? I mean, to me, it was kind of cool because when the Dothraki charged in there and then their flames started slowly, or not even slowly, but quickly dying out, it kind of gave this, like, feeling of, like, oh, we are fucked. Like, we are done. The Dothraki with their horses, flaming weapons, incredible trained soldiers, gone. Which I think was totally unnecessary. But it was cool. I will admit, it was still cool. But you have this giant undead army used in one episode. One episode. You could feel how strong they were last season when Jon went there, went beyond the wall, saw this giant army, the dragon died, and then got turned into a freaking undead ice dragon, or still an undead fire dragon because it breathed fire, but... And then, the big thing for me, Arya. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not sexist or anything like that. I love her character. Her character is cool. I think she's a bit overhyped, but she's a cool character. My problem is, she constantly gets all these... And as Angry Joe said himself, these moments of glory. She had plenty of them. Plenty of them. Killed the faceless man who trained her. Excuse me. Itchy nose. Kind of sick. Apologize. Killed the faceless man. Avenged the Red Wedding. Was able to fight Brienne and, like, beat her, beat the Hound, left the Hound, who I actually think is one of the coolest characters, the Hound, because I don't know. I think he's cool. His whole backstory and whatnot's pretty cool, and he's just this ruthless badass. She's made to seem like the biggest badass on that show because she has all these moments of glory, I killed this. I killed him. I killed that. Blah, blah, blah. I killed her. Makes me think she's going to kill Cersei. She never killed the lady in red, who was on her list. Didn't kill the Hound either, who was on her list. But Cersei's on her list. If she kills Cersei, I honestly might be kind of fed up with season 8. And, you can totally say, like, oh, well, you haven't been a fan as long as other people. You don't understand. Fine. But from a creative standpoint and a direction of a show, she feels super fan servicey. Super fan servicey. She got banged, then she goes and fights, whoops ass, and she's not a Mary Sue. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. She's trained for all this stuff, But what? She does this, simple, knife to the other hand trick to kill him? The Night King? Really? No. No radar. No. Did it to beat Brienne as well. Really, man? Look, if she killed the Night King, it's fine, but it's the way she did it. Tons of whites surround this Bran. All over him. The generals are there. The Night King's there. And it's all thrown away because she just appears out of nowhere and is about to stab him, which he catches her. Then she's just with Valyrian steel dagger that Bran gave her at that tree. Wow, what a coinky dink. And then the lady in red's you'll kill blue ones. In I think it was season 3, 4, 5, some season. I'm sorry, I'd have to go back and watch it all, But she says she'll kill green eyes, brown eyes, blue eyes. But she didn't even say Blue Eyes last. But now they make it super important because she's like, you'll kill Blue Eyes, and then she just runs off screen. And then you're pointed at all these different characters that are in distress that aren't even dying. Nothing's happening to them. They're completely fine at the end of it. And then she pops up and kills the Night King. I would have been fine if she killed the Night King. But the way she did it leaves a sour taste in my mouth. I personally thought, man, there's going to be this really cool fight between the Night King and Jon. Why was Jon brought back to life? What was all that for if you just throw it away? He was supposedly supposed to be the Prince of Prophecy, right? That's what all this buildup was for. Only for it to be thrown away. What was that whole scene of him running through his entire city? Why was he running through, seeing all of his friends in turmoil, about to die? Sam about to die, which, by the way, Sam's a giant pussy too. Didn't his character just remain a giant pussy? Couldn't. Sorry, that could be offensive or something like that, but I don't give a fuck. He ended up being a giant fucking pussy. Sitting there doing fuck all, got Ed killed. Did not grow as a character. He didn't grow as a character to fight. Just laid there. Ran past him. Jon ran past several characters, several of his friends, seeing them being possibly getting killed or slain or whatever, but he knew he had to get to Bran. But the way they stopped him was, let's just throw this undead dragon in his way so he can't get there, and then have Arya kill him. No, man, no. It's just a waste. It's a waste. The way Jon was built up is a waste, because I don't feel Arya didn't have this journey of a hero kind of thing. I really don't feel like she did, and that's why I feel like it's so fan servicey, right? And they're like, we didn't want to go with Jon because Arya was unexpected. The writers said themselves it was unexpected, and that's why they went with Arya. They already had this for 3 years. They thought that they were going to have Arya do this. Why? For what reason? Because it was unexpected. Sometimes expected things still can make a amazing moment in film, in shows, whatever have you. It can still make amazing moments. And if you're telling me right now that freaking the Night King and Jon go at it with their dragons and they get knocked off their dragons or something like that, and then they're just in that big pile of bodies, dead bodies, and they're just about to go at it. And you know what? Maybe, if Jon couldn't kill him or whatever, that's fine. If Arya kills him, or anyone, Theon comes up behind him and kills him, or Bran, while he's working, helps kill the Night King. That would have been cool. But the way they did it was not. It doesn't seem possible. She had all this training. That's how they were able to sneak up on her. There was no way of getting around that circle or past his generals. She literally came out of midair and stabbed him. Would have made more sense if she jumped off a tree, jumped off the tree that Bran was under. Would have made more sense. But then that also goes back to, what was Bran doing that entire time? I brought this up earlier. What was Bran doing that entire time? You already saw him go into the Ravens and spot out the Night King and scout out. What was he doing for the rest of that time? It needs to be explained in one of these other 3 episodes, or it's going to fall flat on its face. It really is. I don't hate Arya as a character. I like her. I think she is badass. Her journey has been cool. Do not get me wrong. She's a great character. But throughout the years, she's just been made to be this character that's the end all be all. And if she does kill Cersei, I feel like this season will be really, really disappointing. And it already does kind of feel disappointing for me because it feels so fan servicey. It feels so fan servicey that this moment, this cool moment, could have been taken away from us. And then the Night King himself and his entire army was practically just, he was literally just made, and this is what ticks me off and annoys me. He was literally made to be this awesome villain, and then that was all thrown the fuck away. All thrown the fuck away because he was just made to be some villain that doesn't, this mute villain that does what every other villain does. Every other villain gets to where he needs to be, takes forever. Look, I can kind of get it. He slowly walks through with his generals through the battlefield, knowing he's conquered, knowing he's commanded and conquered. But he still feels more useless than other villains in other fights. He was less effective than other battles and other fights and other characters, because in the scheme of things, he did not kill any important characters in reality, and the battle really didn't either. It really didn't do much. It didn't. Jorah could have died at any point fighting for Dany. It just so happened to be this battle. Theon could have died at any point as well. Having that moment of redemption, fine. But why throw him away like that? Why throw him away when he's protected Bran? You could have just had Arya kill the Night King before Theon dies. That way he could have felt accomplished. That he actually was able to defend Bran to the end. Thrown away. Ed, dead. To protect Sam. Who was just a giant bitch at the end of it and didn't kill or do anything important to that battle. It's just disappointing, man. It is. It is. It's really disappointing. Is the episode cool? Fuck yeah, dude. That episode was awesome. That entire battle was so fucking sweet. It was. That battle was so cool. So cool. But then all the down points just peg it down for me. It does. And it really, really annoys the hell out of me. It pisses me off. It does. There could have been so much good done with that episode. But it was honestly thrown away. And I feel like a lot of, not true fans, but fans that look deeper into the episode are starting to see that. How much of a disappointment it was and how that episode was presented was amazing, but how it was written was not. It's just disappointing to me, man. It is. It's kind of disappointing. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I'm not a writer. I'm not a professional writer. I'm just a person that watches the show. But it's disappointing. It really is. That's all I got. I just wanted to give my 2 cents. I like reviewing stuff. I like reviewing movies and shows and whatnot. I'll review Endgame. Any other movies that I also get a chance to review, I'll likely review. Godzilla movie, I'll review. I know I'm going to see the Ted Bundy movie. I'll review that. But to cut this short, I'm just disappointed, man. The Night King was thrown away when he should have been the end boss. I don't think Cersei is not cooler than him, not as important. And you know what? Honestly, I think it would have been cooler to see Cersei just get thrashed by the Night King. Night King goes through Cersei, kills her army, then the final battle. Then someone sits on the Iron Throne. That would have been cooler to me. Arya's kill of the Night King was lame. Extremely lame. You could have done it in so many better ways. She helps John defeat him. She helps Bran defeat him or something like that. If Bran did something with his warging to fight him. But instead, she just comes out of midair and stabs him. All because their lady in red said, you'll kill things with blue eyes. Lame. Lame. Director did a phenomenal job. Director did a great job. But there was a lot of things that were thrown away in this episode. And I'm not happy. TLDR, battle's cool. A lot of things thrown away. And feels fan servicey. That's all I have to say.